Okay, here we are back inside MatrixGold once again. I hope you find the video useful in helping your designing process. Today we are going to be addressing a question about Jali and how to get it all watertight so we can print it out. Viewer had a question on the Jali and was having some issues getting it to be watertight for printing. So we're going to go ahead and discuss that a little bit. So I'm going to do one of the ones that I did. I'm going to show different types of surfaces and how they may affect the Jali as well. So there will be some useful content in here. So first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and grab me an oval, and I'll change that to yellow and go to F4 and hold down shift, and we'll just kind of do that thing there. And then this particular one that I did before that he was talking about had a gemstone in it. So we're going to go in here and grab a gemstone. We'll change that to an oval too, kind of keep it to our design of our pendant. We don't want it very big. We want kind of the pendant to be the design type. And we're going to go ahead and hit enter. And we are going to go ahead and grab that stone, and we'll go to settings and we'll select bezel. Okay. And we are not going to edit the bezel at this time, because if we do, it may not let us extract an ISO curve from the bezel. So we're just going to go ahead and automatically accept it. I guess I'll show you what I mean. Okay, let's go ahead and edit this some. And let's drag that up. Let's put on chamfer, and let's drag that in. And let's say that's what we want, right? Something like that. And we'll hit enter. And now if I go to my curves and I try to extract an ISO curve from here, oh, it give it to me. Okay, well, there you go. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. If it doesn't, then that's what the deal is. It's because you edited the bezel. We'll just go ahead and keep on going then, since it worked this time. And we'll go ahead and drag it down a little bit, something like that. And we'll hit enter, and then we'll go to our arc direction. And nothing new here so far. And we'll select that arc direction. We'll snap to our quad there, snap to our quad there, go to all views, and we'll just kind of give it a little circular thing there. And we'll just go ahead and take that, and now we'll do a surface 2 sweep, right? So let's go ahead and select this curve, and this profile, and sweep it, and we'll hit enter. Now this is a good surface, right? It's a nerve surface, so we know that if I go to try to explode it, it says it cannot explode. So it's a nerve surface, so that it should be good, right? But let's watch this. So if we go to our Jali and we put our Jali out there, we'll take that surface, we'll select a pattern. I'll just select one real easy, this one here, and then go ahead, select, and bring it back. We'll get rid of that, and of course it comes out a little too tight for us, so we want to bump it up some. And now if you look at our surface, it's kind of all jacked up over here. So what we'd have to do is we'd have to go ahead and split this Jali and get rid of half of it, and then mirror it over or rotate it around, right? And that's a lot of extra work, and sometimes it doesn't always come out the best depending on how the Jali's laid out on there, right? So that's not really going to work for us on this one. So we're just going to back out, and we're going to take that, delete it, and we're going to go ahead and delete all this. Another way to create a surface, of course, is rotate. So I'll grab a line curve. I'll go in here and put it in the center of the oval, and then I'll just draw it straight up, and then I'll get that rotate again, and arc direction from that point to our quad over here, and give it a little arc there, and then we'll do a surface, and we will do a rotate. Rail revolve, right? And we'll select our rail, or profile rather, and then our rail, and then we'll go from the bottom to the top, and then it'll give us that surface. And then we'll take that surface, we'll change it to green, and we will go ahead and slap a Jali on there, right? And we'll put a Jali on. We'll do the same one so you can kind of see the differences. And we'll take that surface, and don't need that, and we'll bump it up to where we have we can see it pretty good. Now let's go ahead and let's zoom in here. Look at this. We got all this mess in here we'll have to deal with, right? So maybe this isn't the best way to create the surface on this particular kind of object, right? Because it could create issues when we go to Boolean, especially if we don't notice it, right? It could create a lot of issues. So let's hide the screen so you can really see it. And it's kind of really messed up right in the center there. So let's go ahead back. Let's back up. Excuse me, back out of this, and let's get rid of this, and let's get rid of all this. Okay, another way we can create a surface, of course, right, is go ahead, extract this down a little, and I'll take that surface, and I'll change it to green, and I'll go ahead to my surface, and we'll do a patch, right, and we'll select that extrusion, and we'll hit enter. Okay, let's try it again. Oh, planar curve. Is that what I said? Patch is what we want. Where are you at? Patch, patch. There you are. Patch. Okay. This extrusion, and we'll hit enter, and it'll pop-up menu will come. All you have to do is click preview right away and see how the preview is. And of course that's way too thick or whatever, do domey for us. You can play around with these by adjusting them however you want. 2020, I don't think this will change it. This just change our grid there. Oh, I hit enter. So let's go back. Let's get back. Patch this extrusion, hit enter, and that's not really going to do anything. I'm going to bump that back up because it seems to work. I'm going to put it at 40 and 40, but this time we're going to change these two here, our single point. We'll change that to a I don't know, first let's do a preview. All right, and now let's change this to a 6 and do a preview. Not any big difference. Let's change this down to a 4 and do a preview. And you can see it bumped it up a little bit. Nothing big there. Let's change this. Let's change this to a 50 and do a preview. And now you can see it's dropped down. Let's change it up to an 80 and do a preview. And it dropped it down even more. So that's kind of maybe the surface type I want. So we'll just go ahead. I mean, you can play around with those all day long and get a total different surface each time, or not every time, but most of the time. We'll just say this is what I want. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take this extrusion, delete it. I don't want it. And I'm going to take that yellow curve. I'm going to change it to gray and turn it off because we'll probably need it later. Now, one thing you need to remember about patches, sometimes it doesn't always come out straight. So in order to make sure that we have a straight surface, we'll change that to green real quick. In order to make sure, oh, I'll take my yellow, turn it to gray. Okay. In order to make sure we have a nice planar surface, we're just going to go ahead and make sure of that. So we'll just grab a line curve. Actually, I'll right click for both direction, and I'll snap to my F4, hold down shift and drag it out, and then I'll take that curve and I'm just going to bump it up a little bit to wherever I want to say I want that to end. I'm going to select all that, go to my split, and I'm going to split that bottom surface, hit enter, and then just get rid of that curve, right? So now I know I have a planar curve there. And now we'll do a Jali on this. So we're at our curves, we'll go to Jali, we'll pick this surface, and we'll go back to that exact same so we can see the differences on what it's creating on all of them, right? Okay, so there we got that. Let's bump it up. And now you can see everything looks pretty good, nice, smooth, spaced out. Everything's doing good for us, right? And there's nothing really crazy going on. And there's no added additional parts down here that will really create any issues. So we'll just say this is good. A lot of times patch is good for some things. It depends, and we're going to go to another video later and explain on a ring. So let's go ahead and say this is good. So we'll just take that, accept it. And now, of course, you can do all kind of things with this, but we'll just do the simple piping here real quick and do a pipe, and we'll take that down just a little and take this down to around the same. Yeah. Okay, so something like that. Let's say we want something like that. Yeah, oh, beautiful. And we'll take it. All right. So we have this, right? And we have our piping, which is all closed surface, right? Now, something here, right? Sometimes, and I stress sometimes, we'll go to a surface and we'll go and do a cap on this item here, and we'll say enter. And now we have that original surface still there. So we're going to take that, we'll just hide it for right now. And we have this, which is closer. Okay. So we have this. A lot of times you don't even have to do ungroup or do anything like that. I mean, it depends. So let's go ahead and try a Boolean Union this. This surface will be our first surface, and this surface will be our second, and we'll hit enter and give it a few seconds here because that's a lot of piping to throw up onto our surface and a Boolean all together. And we'll see whether it explodes or if it gives it to us. And just kind of wait for it. Sometimes this can take a little time, and there you go. It's good. So we can just hit enter. And now if I select it, it's a closed poly surface, and to get it to print, you know, you can put that stone back in the center and do a cutout. You can do all kind of, but we'll talk about printing here in a second, right? I'm going to undo this because we're going to add that stone in there, and we're going to make it just the Jali itself, right? So I'll go back, undo that, and we'll go back a couple steps, get rid of that surface. We just want that, show that original surface. Yeah, okay. And I'll just go ahead and change that to this so I can see it's a much different color. It stands out, and I'll turn it off right now. All right, so we'll go back to all our perspectives, and we're going to go ahead and add a gem on there, right? So gem, and we'll change that to an oval, and we will drag that up on our surface something like that, and we will make it smaller. Something like that, and bring it down a little, and we'll say this is okay. And now we'll select that gemstone, go to our settings, get that bezel back out there, right? That's a little high, so we'll just kind of drop that down a little. We'll go over here to chamfer, get rid of that chamfer there, and do something like this. And then we'll go to our bottom here and drag it up to where it's just about ready to disappear into our items there, and we'll say that's what we want, and we'll hit enter. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and bring back that curve, and I'll change that curve to yellow. And now we need to do that cutout. We need to get rid of that Boolean right there, right? Get rid of that mid stuff. We don't want any of that. So let's go ahead and back to solids, Boolean difference. We'll take this surface, enter, this surface, enter, and enter again. And we got that, and it blew my bezel out, which is a bummer. So we'll ungroup this. Ungroup, things have moved around. Okay, ungroup. And we'll select all this here and delete it. All right, and then we'll go back and put another bezel on there, since I probably should have made a copy. So let's go ahead and do this. Go back to our chamfer, drag it in, get rid of this here, drag this down a little, and I think all we did was bump this up to around here, and we'll just drag that out just a pinch, just so we know everything's touching. And we can go to our ghosted mode, and we can see that it's intersected right in there, right? Just kind of go around, check to make sure we got intersection and all that. All right, so we'll just go ahead and accept this, and then we'll just go back to our shading here, and we'll do a surface, no, Boolean, sorry, Boolean Union. Okay, we want to go ahead and select all our green and group that back together. Hit abort, select our green, and enter. Okay, so that's all grouped back together again. And now let's do that Boolean Union. Boolean Union, this surface, enter. What happened there? Well, first surface, enter, second surface, enter, and give it a few seconds. Shouldn't take that long to do this. And it'll hopefully Boolean everything together. That's a lot of piping, and there we go. And we'll hit enter. And we have pretty much our item almost done. The last thing we need to do is go in here, put a profile around here real quick. Tools. What am I doing? Profile, and select our. Let's go back. I don't know what happened here. I clicked on something by accident, and now it might be froze. No, no, thank you. Okay, good. Okay, so I'll grab that rel. Okay, so I got a polysurf and a group. So let's take that group, delete it. And we got our polysurface. Now I want to select that line and go to my profile. And we'll just swing this one around. Whoop. And we will make it smaller. And we'll change that profile to another profile just for design purposes. You could do whatever. I'm not going to waste a lot of time here. Let's go with something, I don't know, like this here. And we'll take that. And we'll kind of drag it out a little. We don't need it that much into it. And we'll just go ahead and activate all sweep so we can kind of see what's going on here, right? And we got a 1.6 millimeters, so we can bump that in a little bit. We'll drag that in a little bit, and we will drop that down a little. So it goes something like that. And it's going in there pretty good. It's got a good connection, but let's go ahead and drag it in a little bit more. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Maybe out just a little. So it kind of goes to the inside of there, but that's a pretty decent connection for the most part going around. And you can mess around with that. I'm not going to keep on playing around with it. We'll just keep moving on, and we'll sit enter like that. And the last thing you would have to do, you don't even have to do it. We'll just go ahead and hide our gemstone, and we'll grab that yellow curve and we'll turn that to gray again and turn it off. So the only thing we have out of here is our item. So in order to get it to be all close, you can Boolean those together and you're good to go. But if you say something's not Boolean or something, what you can really do is just go in and select everything, go to your manufacturing, go to mesh repair, and then kind of go get some coffee. Sometimes it can take a while, sometimes it's pretty quick. It just really depends on the items, and some of the jollies that you do take longer than others to get it all together. So it's working its way through there, and now we have our mesh. And let's go ahead and take that, and I'm going to go over here to super select, and I'm going to select all meshes, and I'm just going to drag it over. So there we go. Now we have both of them, right? So we have the one here and the one there. Now let me show something else. If you look at this surface, it's kind of maybe not what you're liking, right? So I'll show you why that is. So let's go ahead, let's go back and select that again, and let's do our mesh repair one more time. And there's some commands that we can do to clean up that surface for printing. It prints like that, or it meshes like that to make it a little quicker. So there's some things that we can do. It takes a little bit longer, but you'll get a little bit better mesh. Okay, so once you get to this point where it shows the mesh where you have not hit entered yet, you can come down here and you can change some of this, delete objects off. So that means it's going to keep it. If you don't want it, you can just click here and delete the original. Input mesh tolerance 0.0, that I probably wouldn't mess with too much, but this one, yes. Output mesh, it's got a 0.03. We want to clean up those things. We don't want to see so many vertices and stuff like that in our mesh. So we're going to take that and we're going to drop it down to a let's see, a 0.01, and we're going to hit enter. Okay, and now it will recalculate that, which could take a little bit longer because you're making it more finer. So we'll kind of wait for it here, but it could take a little bit of time again, you know, if you just do it and then maybe go do something else real quick and come back and check it and see how it's doing. But sometimes it can take a little while, but you'll get a much better mesh out of it. So it's still doing its thing there. And but it will clean it up to give you a lot nicer mesh. All right. And are we there yet? No. It should move when it's good to go. So hopefully it won't take that long. We'll find out here, huh? It's kind of taking a while. Depends on everything that it's doing, but sometimes it can, like this. By the way, how's the weather where you're at? Put a comment in there. Let me know where you're at and what the weather's like. Hopefully life's treating you good and business is doing even better. Come on, you can do it. Open mesh, open mesh. It shouldn't take that long, but it does take some while. So most of the time I usually just go do something and come back and there it's getting there. Unwelded edges, exploded mesh 49. Okay, we're still working on it here. I mean, we're putting it down to very fine detail, so hopefully it'll I'm sure the speed of your computer will affect it. My speed is it's okay, it's not the best. Okay, so let's go ahead, and now that we've got it there, let's super select all meshes, which will be 1, and there we go. And I'm just going to hold down shift and drag it over and drag it on over. And there you go. It's better, right? It's not so messed up. We have pretty good definition. I mean, it's much better than it was. So and this should be a printable item. If you type in what, it comes up valid mesh, and you should be able to export it and print it from here, no problem. Put your base on it and sprue it up okay, no problems. But hopefully this will help. You know, this is a real quick, easy way to Boolean things together. And a lot of times they don't even need to be closed polysurface to Boolean together, though. Many times if you just kind of lay open surfaces out there and do the mesh repair, it automatically closes them up. It just really depends. But hopefully this will help you, and if it does, please leave a like, subscribe, and a comment below. Thanks for watching and appreciate your time. Good designing.